Good morning, it's Molly here from Ponder and Ply. I hope you are all well. Thank you for joining me again. This is podcast number 5. My podcasts always start with good morning. I appreciate it's not morning everywhere in the world when you guys are watching this. It's just I film my podcasts before work, so it's actually early in the morning here in London. So good afternoon, good evening, I hope you're well, I hope you have a lovely day. Yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me. So I'm still learning to be a YouTuber. Oh dear, I thought I was going to sneeze. Nope, gone. I hate that feeling when you're about to sneeze and then it goes. I think I've got a bit of a cold again. It just seems to sort of linger and not fully come out and not really go away. So anyway, I was saying I'm not a very good YouTuber, at least I don't really know what I'm doing, and I always forget to ask. Please like, comment, subscribe, share these videos with your friends. I will be eternally grateful to you. Yeah, anyway, so during my last podcast, if you watched it, if you haven't, go back and watch it, thank you very much. I spoke to you about the fact that I was just about to head off to the knitting and stitching show, and then I had a weekend in Jersey for my birthday. So I have all down here all the goodies that I picked up from the knitting and stitching show. I didn't go crazy-ish. I didn't go crazy-ish. I didn't go that crazy, that's what I'm looking for. Didn't go that crazy. Everything I bought, despite there being a bit more than I planned, has some relevance. I'll explain it all in a second. I'll just speak a little bit about my weekend in Jersey. So it was kind of a surprise birthday trip. So my boyfriend is lovely, but he's rubbish at keeping surprises. So he booked something, told me I've got a surprise weekend. I had to take the Friday off of work. And then he was like, but that's all I'm going to tell you. Okay, fine, no problem. I'll wait and see where we're going. And then about a week before we went, he was like, do you want to know where we're going? And I was like, if you want to tell me. I thought it was a surprise, but you can tell me. And I think he was so excited that he just wanted to tell me. So he told me we're going to Jersey. He's like, you really wanted to go to Jersey, right? And I was like, I never said that. He's like, no, you know, about a month ago you said that you really want to go to Jersey and we're having this conversation. And then I realised that I was talking about Shetland. Obviously, being a knitter, I wanted to go to the Shetland Isles. For anyone that doesn't know, I don't blame you if you don't, they're tiny islands. So you've got the UK here. And if you go up past Scotland, you've got the Shetland Isles up here. Apparently they're actually closer to Norway than they are to Scotland, but anyway, they're north of Scotland. And then if you go all the way down south to the bottom of the country, nearly all the way to France, that's where Jersey is. It's a tiny little island. I think it was something like 7 kilometres wide and 12 kilometres long. I can't remember, but it's a very tiny island, and it's actually much more built up than I realised. I thought it would be a bit more remote, but it's obviously surrounded by beautiful beaches. Anyone that's looking at my Instagram stories, we found caves with waterfalls in them. It was a bit drizzly and a bit cold, but it didn't stop us, so we went exploring on the beaches, we ate wonderful food, went for walks in the countryside. We actually found some castles on the last day. We went into quite a well-known castle that was built, I think, in the 1300s, or maybe it was the 13th century. And they've kind of been adding and taking away from it since. So it was huge. We got to go around all of the rooms and the grounds and climb those stairs, and it was lovely. I had a really amazing time. I did actually want to come back, but I had to, and I've been working all this week. I've been really busy because I took 2 days off last week. I've been playing catch up, and I have taken on a lot more. So if anyone that doesn't know, I'm a project manager, so I've taken on an extra couple of projects this week, which means that I have been pretty much slammed. On top of that, our office is having a refurb, so I've mostly been working from home, which is quite nice for a couple of days, but the novelty starts wearing off. I'm such a chatterbox, I like to talk to people. Boyfriend's away on business, so I've got the house to myself I've been binge watching lots of YouTube videos. Most recently and last night I was binge watching all of Alexa Chung's new YouTube. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Definitely recommend it. I find her quite endearing. So yeah, that's what I've been watching. Anyway, I've been talking away. One last thing to note. The pussy mug is back. Yes, okay, fine. I'm just going to jump straight in then. Okay, so one thing I said to myself before I went is, Molly, you don't need any more fabric. I have lots of fabric and I've done almost no sewing this year at all. The first thing I saw when I walked in was fabric. And the first thing that I bought was fabric. However, it was a sensible fabric choice that I'm going to talk to you about now. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so that's some really beautiful brown corduroy. Anyone that follows me on Instagram knows I'm obsessed with corduroy. I recently got some very nice black corduroy pants for you American followers, trousers from M&S, Marks and Sparks. I absolutely love M&S. I don't care that people think it's a granny brand. It's not. They have fantastic, classic, beautiful clothing. So I bought those from there. Anyway, that's a tangent. I really love corduroy. I love corduroy in autumn. I've actually been watching sort of like, I'm really quite into knowing what's going on in the fashion world, what's in trends. I'm not a slave to the trends. I don't follow everything specifically, but it's nice to have an idea of what's going on. And one thing that's really in fashion, like every autumn, is corduroy. So I really initially wanted to get a I initially wanted to get a brown corduroy skirt, and then this fabric, you couldn't buy it by the metre. It was like you had to buy all of it. It was a tenner and it's for 2.4 metres. So I was like, well, what can I do? Because A, my sewing is not good enough to make trousers. B, once I've made a skirt out of it, I don't really know that I would use any more than that, and I didn't really need more than a metre. So I bought a pattern. One that most of you, probably anyone that sews, will be aware of. Oh, sorry, might add here, anyone who is not here for sewing, doesn't care about sewing, is not a sewer. I will get onto knitting stuff quite quickly and most of it is knitting related. So please bear with me or jump ahead to a couple of minutes. So I'll pop a picture in, but this is the Cleo by Tilly and the Buttons. So it is a gorgeous dungaree dress. Well, yeah, it's a dungaree pinafore, and it's gorgeous, and I've had my eye on it for a really long time, but I wasn't sure if it's going to suit me or my style. The versions that they've done, I think for me, are slightly on the long side. If I want to wear this, I want it to be quite short and cute. I was thinking with a really nice fitted jumper underneath, or a white t-shirt and then a chunky cardigan over the top. I'm quite excited about this. I actually was going to start it last night, and then I knew I was filming this morning, so I want to show it to you before I've started cutting it out. So I'm hoping maybe to start this weekend, at least get bits cut out or get my pattern cut out. I'm going to take my time with it. I'm not going to rush it. I haven't sewn in a really long time, and I think I mentioned in a previous video my sewing's not quite as good as my knitting, so I do need to be a bit more patient and take my time. But yeah, that's number one. Okay, I'm going to get all this sewing stuff out the way at once. So then I continued walking around, trying not to look at fabric, but there is a lot of fabric at the Knitting and Stitching show, and I came across something really beautiful. Are you ready? Oh my god. So anyone, again, that's watched another one of my videos, I talk about how much I love green and how much I love wearing green. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it is just the most, oh, the lighting isn't really showing you. It's the most delicious shade of green. It's like a olivey, it's quite dark, but when the light hits it, it's really light, and it's velvet, and it's so soft and delicious. And you know we're coming into winter and Christmas, and velvet, well, I'm all about velvet. I'm all about textures. I think that's why I love corduroy and why I love velvet. It's just they feel so good, and when you layer them with other textures, I just think it makes a really interesting outfit. This is very stretchy, so I haven't decided whether I'm going to draft my own little pencil skirt or whether I'm going to use the Bibi skirt from Tilly and the Buttons. It's in her book Stretch. I've got the book. I've actually made the Bibi pinafore before in pink. If you look way back in my Instagram post, you will see the pink one that I made. Actually, the first day I wore it out, I got a tiny bit of oil on it. I can't believe I did that. I went out, I wore it to work, and which is not really a work outfit, but I wore it anyway. And we went and got pasta, and then I dripped oil from, it was really good pasta, but I dripped oil on it, and I was pretty devastated. I could tuck it, but I didn't think it would look as nice shorter. It finished really nicely just at the top of my knee, and now, I don't know, it's been sitting in my wardrobe. I need to make a decision. Maybe I'll patch it with something interesting. Anyway, that was all the sewing related bits that I purchased. Now I'll talk to you a little bit about the knitting. Anyone that watched that other video, I said that I'm going to write a list of sort of any yarn that I need or projects that I'm planning that I don't currently have the yarn for, and one of them is my test knit for Jessie May. I am test knitting the sheer V, which is an absolutely beautiful pattern. I'll pop a picture up. And I really wanted to do it in grey, which for me is quite a different choice. I usually go for colour or something a bit interesting, so I picked up, it's Drops Flora Mix. It's a mix of alpaca and wool. It is, I'll tell you, 65% wool and 35% alpaca. It's very soft, and I've been told that it softens even more once you block it. So it's colour 5. Let me show you. So this beautiful colour is a really nice charcoal grey. I actually think it might be one of their natural, I'm not sure if it's a natural shade. It's kind of too perfect to be a natural shade. However, I think it is just gorgeous. There's this stall called, I think it's Blackbird Yarns. Might be Blackbird Yarns. They don't have a shop. They don't have a physical, like online or in person. They only do shows, and they do such a good deal. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it's like £2 or £3, something less than £4, but it was somewhere between 2 and sort of like £3.50 or £3.70. I can't remember, for 150 gram ball. So it ended up being quite cheap. So with that pattern, I also need a strand of mohair. I searched high and low around the whole show, and I couldn't find any like reasonably priced mohair. There was a lot of indie dyed mohair, but to be honest, it was out of my price range for the quantity I would have needed. So I have ordered some online. Anyone that saw my, I appreciate I'm referencing a lot of other things today. Anyone that saw my diaphanous raglan, also Jessie May test knit, I got my mohair from a company called Whoopee Yarns. They're based somewhere in Eastern Europe, I believe, and the yarn is fantastic and it's really reasonable. It's quite expensive shipping, but even with the shipping it works out cheaper than buying the equivalent from the UK or from somewhere closer. So I have ordered 2 colours. They're not here yet. Shipping takes a little while, so I've ordered a light grey and I've ordered a like dusky kind of pink. So I'm going to swatch both. I didn't want something that matched. I wanted something that kind of gives it a shimmer, or I haven't decided yet. I'm really hoping the pink works and you can see like little flecks and catches the light. But failing that, I know the light grey will look really nice. So when that arrives, I'll swatch it and I'll definitely show you guys. But for now, that's sitting, waiting, ready for me to pick up. So I'm going to jump a bit. So then I continued my shopping and I bought a few other things, and I just walked around and looked at some of the art installations. But at the end of the show, I had set myself a budget and I had a bit of money left, so I circled back to Blackbird Yarns and I picked up these. So these again have alpaca content. I think they have more than the one I picked up to do Jessie May's design in. Let me double check. Oh yeah, they're 100% alpaca, so they definitely have more alpaca. They're really soft and fuzzy and slubby, and they had such a beautiful array of colours that I decided to pick up a selection. As you know already, again I'm going to reference another video, my personal design, I was in the process of designing something, I ran out of the yarn that I needed for it and it is now out of stock, so that is on hold. So I wanted a small project that maybe I could make a little design in the meantime, so those colours may, if I get a chance between the test knit and my current whips, turn into another pattern. I was thinking some kind of colourwork cowl or some colourwork mitts, or maybe even a colourwork headband. I haven't released any colourwork designs yet, and I thought a small accessory might be a good way to start. No promises, we'll see what happens, but that is something that I'm thinking about. We're nearly there, guys, we're nearly there. I've got 2 more things and one of them is very luxurious. Okay, I'm going to save the very luxurious thing to last. I actually bought a book. So I haven't got a book in a while, other than the Pom Pom magazine that I have a subscription for, which to me is kind of as good as, I know it's a magazine, but they're like the quality, let's be honest, it's a book. So I bought this. This is Form by Hargreaves. It's in, I believe it's in partnership with Rowan. So Rowan had a huge stall with lots of samples, lots of yarn, lots of different books. It was one of the best. Well, they also actually did a fashion show which I caught the end of at one point. Oh no, I caught the beginning of, and it was getting very busy, so I had to move. I get a bit panicky when there's too many people. So their store was amazing. They had like gorgeous samples. I wanted everything I saw. All the books were gorgeous. The only thing is it was so busy. I couldn't move, and they had lots of people there sort of standing around that I think were there to promote their books so that you could talk to. Unfortunately, I didn't recognise. So in my last video, again referencing another video, I spoke about my sort of bonus makes, dream makes that I haven't been able to make for one reason or another, and one of them was by a designer called Martin Story. Now according to the photos and the tags, Martin Story was at that stall and I didn't know, and I could have gone and spoken to him and told him how much I loved his jumper and asked him where I could get it, and I didn't because I didn't know it was him. I must have walked past him about 10 times. Yeah, clever, real clever. Yes, okay. Well, actually a friend of mine on Instagram has reached out and has found that the pattern I was looking for is in a book and told me where I can purchase the book. So I will, I think that was M1 Yarns, thank you very much. So I will be purchasing that book and starting it at the beginning of next year. The two of us may actually have a little coordination, a little surprise release of our makes from that book. That is yet to be decided. Maybe I gave away a secret right just now. Sorry. But yes, I'm super excited. Anyway, this book is just the dream for classic sweaters. I think it doesn't help that the girl in the photos is beautiful. I can't work out whether I really fancy her or whether I just want to look like her, but she's got gorgeous ginger hair. which helped me picture what these knits would look like. For me, they're very understated. As you can tell with the jumper I am currently wearing, I like bright. The jumper I'm currently wearing, actually, which I haven't told you, is, if I haven't worn it already in one of my videos, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's Veronica by Moi. The yarn is... Good question. What is the yarn? So I made it like 2 years ago. I don't remember. Rico? Might be Rico. I can find out if you want me to. Maybe I was clever enough to put it on my Ravelry page. Maybe I wasn't. Sorry if I wasn't. Yes, anyway, I don't know the best way to show you. It's just, okay, so they've got, I mean, I'm living for all the whites. I've been wanting to make a white jumper for ages. I think I mentioned that I want to make Woodwardia. Is it Woodwardia? Yeah, Woodwardia by Lydia Gluck in white. I mean, it's just so many classic, gorgeous knits. I won't show you all of them. Just give me 1 second. I was looking for a grandpa cardigan recently. There's something similar in here. There's some off the shoulder gorgeous jumpers. But there is. See, I really love this. I think I'd get a lot of wear out of that. Sometimes the most interesting, fun makes are not the most wearable, and I like things a bit crazy. I like using bright yarn. As you know, I'm making a neon ocean at the moment, and it's going very well, might I add. Last night I split for the arms, but I'm only going to wear that so often. I mean, I can't rock that all the time. Stuff like this, it's just classically beautiful. But yeah, anyway, anyone that's interested, I will write down below everything that I got. I don't remember the stores that I got the fabric from, I'm sorry. I should have written that down and I didn't. I was too distracted. The show was really fun. It was very, very busy. It was the first day of the show. Other than school trips, I was the youngest probably by about 50 years, but that's okay. Everyone was really nice and warm. Apart from getting pushed around a little bit when it got really busy. When people get very excited about getting access to their yarn and they sort of barge you out the way a little bit, I imagine there would be a more diverse range of people there at the weekend, because obviously a lot of people work and I took the day off work to go because I was away at the weekend. But yeah, it was lots and lots of fun. I actually had a penny raisin at the end with a cup of tea, and it was like as big as my face. That was definitely a highlight for me. Okay, one last thing to show you. Okay, this was pricey, but it's so beautiful, I can't even tell you. So this is Mohair by, now, Qing, Q-I-N-G. My gut instinct tells me to pronounce it King, even though it's not a K, because there's no U after the Q. I don't know how you pronounce it. If you know how to pronounce it, please let me know. Qing, King. Either way, their yarn is exquisite. So I follow them on Instagram. I am obsessed with their colours. Everything looks amazing and indulgent and rich and saturated. So I went into their shop and it was tiny. Their store was absolutely tiny, and I must have spent an hour in there. I spoke to the lady there. She was really friendly. I don't think she was the dyer, but she must work with the company, and I just couldn't decide. they didn't even have that many different colours for the mohair in the shop. I guess a lot of them had already gone, or they didn't have that many with them, and I couldn't decide. I was asking about patterns that I could use so that I didn't have to buy a huge quantity. So apparently the Ranunculus sweater, which I'm sure a lot of you know, I'll link the designer below, I don't know off the top of my head, only uses one ball or one skein of their mohair. Well, if that wasn't a reason to buy one skein, I don't know what is. I think it was either 22 or 24 pounds. It is kid mohair silk. It's 70% ultrafine kid mohair and 30% silk. It's 420 meters and 100 grams, and the color is Island. Now, I was trying to choose the whole time between a couple of pink shades with splatters of other colours and a blue that had lots of shades of blue in it. Now, weirdly, I was drawn, as you know from what else I've showed you, I was really drawn to grey this time, and I don't usually wear that much grey, but this grey is special. So it's a really, really delicious sort of medium to light grey, but then it's got like turquoisey blues and peachy oranges flecked all the way through. I wonder how well I can show you. I think that's showing up quite well. It is just, I've never seen a grey like it, to be honest. There's even, I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a fleck of yellow. I'm in love. I am in love. I don't know when I'll have time to make it, but I've got it and I'm ready for it. So the same designer has a top called the Cherry Top, which you may have seen on Qing, I'm sorry, I don't know, their Instagram. They've made a version of it. It's like a t-shirt with circles around the neck, and they've done it in like a coral, like a peachy coral and a red, or a peach and a red, I can't quite remember. But it's one of the most delicate, beautiful things I've ever seen, and they had the sample at the store. So I actually wanted to get the yarn to make that, but apparently to make the t-shirt version it's one and a bit plus an extra colour, and it's so expensive, and I'd already bought so much other. If it's the only thing I was buying, I would have bought enough to make that. But because I'd already spent a fair bit of money at this point, I couldn't really justify, and I don't really have time to make it at the moment. So at some point, maybe in their yarn, maybe in another yarn, I really want to make that top. It's so delicate and beautiful. I'll put in a picture. And yeah, so I was talking to Lady about it. I was trying to choose. I ended up going with this, but I will be making that one too at some point. Also, sorry for the fact that I look an absolute mess today. I was going to wash my hair last night so that I was ready to podcast this morning, and it didn't happen. Mostly because I was watching Alexa Chung. I got really distracted, and then I didn't want to go. I don't mind going to bed with the hair a little bit wet. My hair's naturally dead straight, which I know some of you think is an amazing thing. I hate it. It's so flat, it's like a curtain. I'm currently growing it out. I used to have very long hair, and then I kept on cutting it into a bob. I may cut it into a bob again. The reason I can't, my hair's very thick, and when it gets long it's a big curtain around my head, and I can't deal with it, and then it ends up sitting on top of my head all the time, so then I just cut it into a bob because it's manageable. However, we're going to try it again. Anyway, it's on top of my head in a scarf because it's very greasy. I actually did my roots before I went on holiday, so that was on Wednesday, and I haven't washed it since. And oh, today is Wednesday. It's been a week. I'm going to wash it today. But I didn't want to do the podcast with wet hair, and it takes too long to dry, so I didn't do it first. Anyway, tangent. My coffee's gone cold. I've been talking for too long. I thought this was going to be a 10-minute video. It clearly isn't, and maybe I'll try and edit and make it shorter. I've been rambling a lot. I'm sorry, guys. No, I'm not sorry. It's just me. Sorry, but not sorry. Yes, okay, fine. I will be back soon. I'm trying to get these up roughly once a week. But because I don't have a specific day yet, subscribe to my YouTube channel and it will notify you when my next video goes up. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, comment, like, tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your family, tell everyone. Help me get my views up so that more people can discover me. So the way YouTube works, very similar to Instagram, the more people that like, comment, subscribe, the more visibility I get with the wider community. So please help a girl out. And okay, that's enough begging. Yeah, fine, that's everything. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch me, and I'll be back soon.